This gives me extreme goosebumps to even think about. Let me tell you the best news you ever heard in your life. Whether you think so or not, it is. God is reconciling all things to himself. This is absolutely observable in mainstream science. What I mean by that is himself is in eternity. The heaven of heavens cannot contain God. What, are you going to build him a house to dwell in? Oh, he already has one of those. It's his form, his image that he dwells in. Now, in eternity, there is no time or space. Time and space is inside creation, whereas eternity is outside of God's creation. You might say, well, what's outside of time and space? Nothing. It's nothing. All the things are creation and everything inside of it. Now, don't try to wrap your heads around nothing or what it is. Even if you try to imagine nothing, that empty space that you're imagining is construct itself. Empty canvas, so to speak. It's about as far as you can go. We have no experience with nothing. Don't even know what it actually means, so don't get tripped up on it. Now, God's creation is temporal, means there's time involved. Relativity, which is testable, observable, and repeatable. It's science. Relativity isn't perfect. Perfect means complete. We're still working it out. But time passes differently on Earth than it does in heaven. It passes differently in hell than it does on Earth because of relativity. Like, people don't consider quantum physics. Bodies in hell might be so small we have no hope to see them. And on their level, they might look just like us. Being that we're all toroids here, and fools will scoff at that statement, though it is observably true. But when I say God's reconciling all things to himself in eternity, I mean every single thing in God's creation and God's creation itself is going to be reconciled with eternity. Eternity where no thing exists will one day be full of everything that exists, so that all of this is going into eternity in the end. And the end of this will be eternity itself. So this is wave function again. God's creation starts from eternity and returns to it. Falls all the way down to rise all the way back up again. That story's familiar. God himself came all the way down from eternity, all the way into hell, and then back up again. What is it that he first descended to the lower parts of the earth? He who descended is the same who ascended far above all heavens, that he might fulfill all things, reconciling all things to himself. You see, God created all things on a temporal schedule. Now, I'm doing a poor job of describing this to you, I know. But God created all of this with the direct plan to bring it into eternity in the end of time. Even time is temporary, temporal, finite. Time will run out. Time is running. It will run all the way out of existence. Existence itself is going to be reconciled with the nothing that you can't even contemplate. The no thing reconciled with the everything. Why was there no thing? What need was there for things? Just stop. God has need of nothing. Well, why did he do all this then? Well, it wasn't for need, let me tell you. If I go sit down of an evening to watch a movie with my wife, it's not because I need to, it's for my good pleasure. It's because I want to. For my good pleasure means there was no need here. This simply brings me joy. No other reason. Is needed, you see. An all-powerful entity that has everything that he needs in himself can do whatever he wants. He alone is sovereign. I digress. The Big Bang is pretty accurate, if not for that totally unnecessary deep time that they add to it. Millions and billions. What are y'all even talking about? It's irrelevant. It's relative. But you can take my word for it, or you can go look it up in Genesis 1. The Big Bang follows Genesis 1 to a T. It was written by a Catholic priest, after all. I just renamed the stuff. Threw deep time in there so they can trick you onto stuff doesn't apply to you even a little bit. Doesn't apply to any of us. We did not exist. Time is both the trickiest and also easiest thing there is to understand. You just got to use your intuition. Use the Schwartz. But all of mainstream science agrees with what I'm about to say, even if they have not gotten there yet. Even if they never do. While walking around on this earth, they certainly will one day. Time being an illusion and all things actually being nested in eternity, it's actually just right now. Always. Just right now. There's no such thing as tomorrow. That's a hallucination of your condition in the mortal flesh. I digress again. But according to the Big Bang model, what we definitely have, from as far back as we can see, the universe is organizing more and more. Time favors both order and complexity. We can clearly see from the mainstream model that all of creation has only been organizing more and more. Look at this. Look, here's the darkness, as in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth, or matter, was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Science agrees, right there it is. There was no light. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And indeed that happened, but the light could not be seen. It was all swallowed up in the darkness. God created the darkness, formed the light in it, but couldn't see the light. It wasn't apparent anywhere. And what I mean is, this is from space.com. This early soup would have been impossible to actually see because it couldn't hold visible light. The free electrons would have caused photons to scatter the way sunlight scatters from water droplets in clouds. Over time, however, these free electrons met up with nuclei and created neutral atoms, or atoms with equal positive and negative electric charges. To be sure, the period when light became able to travel freely throughout the universe after the early universe had cooled and become transparent, you couldn't see anything and then you could, is known as the era of recombination. Science agrees light existed, light formed before it was visible. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Light existed in the darkness. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Notice those are capitalized there because it's more than just daytime and nighttime on the earth. There was no sun or moon yet. And evening and morning were the first day. The sun would not exist until the fourth day. So here in Genesis, when he's talking about day and night, he's not talking only about the sun rising and setting upon the earth when the sun did not exist yet and land did not exist yet. A day to the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. Relativity. Day and night is bigger than what we see here on the earth. Ours is rather the symbolic example, rather than the literal thing that's far above what we can see with our eyes. They're made of dirt. The sun and the moon teach us about day and night. That's what's actually going on here. The sun and the moon divide the day from the night and the light from the darkness. And that's far more than sleeping and waking. It's life and death, which is also far more than what you thought when I said that. The things you can think about life and death are the examples, the symbols that we are given in our temporal reality here that teach us about the real thing far above what we can see currently. NASA agrees. God said, let there be light, and there was light, and then God divided the light from the darkness. And as we can see, the light is only organizing more and more into bigger structures, dividing further and further from the darkness as time progresses. Time favoring stability and complexity. It's right there. You can see the universe organizing towards the steady state of the light forever being separate from the dark. Total equilibrium. The universe can only be observed to be organizing towards the steady state of eternity, where the light will be forever separate from the darkness. So God's perfect plan that will be accomplished can observe to be right on schedule, doing exactly what he told us it would. God is reconciling all of this to himself in eternity. Hell is going into the eternal lake of fire for eternity. The choice is, do you want to be light or do you want to be darkness? And God gives us all the desires of our hearts. Thus endeth the lesson.